One of the age-old questions in mountain biking is, should you repair and upgrade your existing bike?
Or should you save your pennies and upgrade to a brand new bike? We'll be looking at the pros and cons of each today.
Yeah, and also we do try and tell you to repair your bikes, but sometimes you do have to bite that bullet as well and get a new one. So when really should you be investing in a new bike? Well, I think the point is there's no hard and fast rule as to when you should do that. It's kind of up to you and how you actually treat your bike in the first place, which of course is why we recommend that you look after your bike and you follow our maintenance videos. For example, on this bike it's a little bit tired, but a fresh set of tyres on there, chain cassette, maybe a cable overhaul and stuff, and it will feel absolutely fine. You can keep on trucking with it.
And of course, some people get really attached to their bikes. They might find that it really suits their type of riding, their body size, etc.
Yeah.
But you might find there's a tipping point where actually financially it starts making more sense to save your money and invest in the latest and greatest bike, where this bike is the brand new Spectral, that's the older Spectral. You can see the difference in design where things have incrementally got better. And actually, don't forget the desirability factor of getting a new bike, going online, trying to check out those bikes, trying to decide what you want, can make a big factor on that choice of actually thinking you need a new bike.
Also, let's not forget as well, what happens when your mate gets a new bike? Whether you want one or not, it definitely plants the seed.
So Doddy, your bike is the 2016 Canyon Spectral, mine's the brand spanking carbon fibre 2019 model. So yours is an alloy frame.
That's right, yeah.
You keep that going forever pretty much?
Pretty much, yeah. They're pretty reliable. I mean, of course it's going to get its dings and stuff, but it's not going to affect it too much. But you are going to run into some issues, I think, as time goes on, because standards, of course, change.
So it's not mine's boost?
Yeah.
Is that a viable upgrade?
Well, not really, no. So on the back of this, it's a 142mm axle. On the back of your one, so it's 148. On the front, it's 100 and 110. So it does pose a problem that if you do need to change your wheels at a later date, whilst you can still buy 142s, you wouldn't be able to move them onto another bike later.
I'm not sure it's something that I would consider a performance upgrade. I know everyone tells you it is a bit, but I'm not sure I would use that to completely influence my decision. Right, I need a new bike because of boost.
Yeah.
But looking at that bike, the shock, I think, looks pretty tired.
Yeah.
Of course, you can get that serviced, but if you need a new shock, that's a few £100s.
Yeah, straight away, yeah. It's a very expensive part of the bike. And that's a really valid point. You know, if you consider the whole price of a bike, the suspension components are really expensive on their own right. I mean, if you're going to sell the fork aftermarket, probably 300 quid tops you're going to get for that. And that's like 900 quid forks when you're buying them as an individual piece.
So for argument's sake, let's say you need a new rear shock, you need a new dropper post.
Yep.
That could be £600-700.
Yeah.
You could potentially sell that bike for 800 quid.
Yeah, probably, yeah, in the region of 700 to £1,000, depending on the condition of all the parts on it and stuff, yeah. So
I'd say for argument's sake, that's almost £1,600 you could put towards a new bike.
Yeah.
This is the carbon fibre one, so this one comes in at £3,600, but you can get the AL 6.0 for £2,259.
Yeah.
That's got SRAM Eagle GX and stuff, so you know, almost comparable to that bike. So it's not a huge jump up from potentially keeping that and upgrading to actually buying a brand new bike.
Yeah, but there is something that's also worth saying, is that new bikes, as amazing as they are, they lose money as well. So there's definitely a cut-off point where if you're deciding you want to sell your bike, if you're thinking it, you basically got to get on the case. If not, you keep the thing going. Kind of like an old car. You can just keep pumping money at it and keep the bike going and it will be fine.
You often find with selling bikes as well that you might get better money if you actually split that thing. So let's say you get £800,000 for that bike, you might actually be better off taking the fork off, selling that separately, etc. Sometimes you might end up with a few spare parts that you can't get rid of so easily. Yeah, definitely. I mean, in particular, fork and the shock, because you can buy spare parts for them, get them serviced, have a new lease of life, basically, so they'll be good for another buyer. But no one's going to want to buy an old chain and cassette, are they? No,
for sure. That's a consumable parts, you know, wear them out, get rid of them, upgrade them as you need to. Never consider them as a lure for buying a new bike or spending on your own, really.
What about the benefits of a new bike? Well, it's brand new, it's shiny, it's a new bike. Of course, that's going to be the biggest one. You've got all the latest and greatest geometries, technologies going on. Don't forget you've got a warranty on a brand new bike.
Yeah, that counts for a lot.
It might even give you a bit of motivation to get out and ride it a bit more often.
I can't deny having a new bike is a great thing, but you've still got to fork out a lot of money for a bike. Even basic bikes these days cost a lot of money. You do get a lot of bike for the money, but you still have to pay that money. But maintaining your current bike and upgrading it, I think you can save a bit of money doing that.
What about showing off to your mates? You need the latest and greatest.
Yeah, but there's something to be said about an old workhorse, isn't there?
Okay, so you've completely fallen for the lure and you've decided you want to buy a new bike, and once you've decided that's it, you need it. What should you do? Well, what should you look for the money? For sort of £1,000 to £1,500, you can look at a proper performance hardtail where actually there might be better value than going for a full suspension bike. You're probably going to get better fork, better components. But you can get budget full suspension bikes in the UK. Kaliber Bossnut is about that price. So decent bikes going up the scale, 1,500 to 2,000. That's, you know, a proper full suspension mountain bike. Maybe not a dropper post, but when you start looking above that, you're going into the technology you've got on these bikes all around. Decent suspension, lockable suspension, dropper posts, the latest and greatest 1x12 even. But there is the other option of maybe deciding to buy a second-hand bike, a new to you second-hand bike, but you can fall into problems there. You need to look for some things, so it can cost you money buying a second-hand bike.
I think that's a different video.
That's another video.
We'll make that one.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Just one thing actually, if you are buying a new bike, you've got to factor in, you might want to change a few things on that bike as well. The tyres that comes with the bike might not suit your local conditions. It might not even come with pedals. You might not like the grips, the saddle. You might need some lights, all those extra things. You have to budget for that as well.
All right, Toddy, I've decided I haven't got enough money to buy a brand new bike. What's the best bang for buck if I'm going to upgrade my old one?
Okay, well, if you exclude your sort of your consumables, like your chain, your cassette, your brake pads and that, which you should be doing anyway, I think a set of wheels really, as in new wheels and new tyres on a bike, get some nice new lightweight ones, the bike's going to feel a lot more alive. When you do buy new wheels, see if you can future-proof your wheels. And what I mean by that is if you've got a bike like this that is not boost, you can get wheels that can take boost spaces, so you can use them on a bike further down the line. And the other thing, of course, I would recommend is getting your suspension serviced and tuned. If it's not something you're happy doing, definitely invest some money in getting that done by an official tuner, because it gives a whole new lease of life to your existing bike.
Well, I'm a sucker for a brand new bike, but you do need deep pockets.
I'm a bit of a sucker for maintaining and upgrading a bike, I've got to say.
Yes, you are. If you want to see how excited I am about riding my brand new Nuke-proof Mega, click over there.
Yeah, and if you want to learn about maintaining and looking after your bikes and upgrading them, click down there for our Essentials series.
Thumbs up.